We were in the second part of the lecture, so we talked about the having the queries on from the two tables, if you remember, and I am so happy in this case that I have already seen a lot of you started the assignments, worked on the assignments, emailed me, set up a Zoom meeting together, so which is so good, and I am so appreciated for it. So you are already started to work on it, and it's great. So we talked about the uh, in general the relationship diagram that from the chapter 2 we started to work on these 5 tables instead of that simplified sales table that we had, and we learned about the we will learn in chapter 3 and 4 in very detail, but now we know that for example each table has a unique key, and then we found if there should be a connection between the tables, it should be through the common keys. And we mentioned that, for example, the sale ID, which is the main key in the sale table, it's the sale ID exactly is the main one. But for example, between these two tables, customer and the sale table, we have the customer ID as the common key. So the customer ID, which is the main key in the customer table, we consider it as a foreign key in the sale table. So I hope you already remember these points that we talked. And we mentioned that, for example, when you are trying to ask some query from different tables, we need to always find a path between these two tables, or just in the road. For example, if I am requesting something related to the sale information, and at the same time related to the customer information, I need to connect these two tables together. And we said that the path between these two tables is going through the customer ID. And we ran some syntax together that let's have one more at least. Yeah, for example, like the one that we have here. So we have the list of the sale of the sneakers showing all sales information along with the category and the product price. So we have the first statement as a select, and we have the sale from the sale table, and dot asterisk means we are showing all the columns in the sale table. You're just reviewing, and the category and the price from the product ID table. And if you remember, last week, Wednesday, we just did it together to say, okay, we can, for example, put product here, so category from product table, price from product table, okay? So, but right now, because just the category and price in this particular example is the only attribute from the product table, we don't need to mention it here. But if, for example, we have category in 2 tables and have just one of them in the table, we need to specify category from which table, okay? So then we said, okay, from the sale table, we are going to the product table, and the common path between these two is the product ID from the sale and product ID from the product table. And where just the condition is category the sneakers. I forgot my clicker also. So now we were in that part that we could finish the class. So this time we are gonna do the 3 tables. It's exactly the same as 2 tables, just 1 line extra. Nothing big deal. Everything is the same. Okay. So right now, for example, in this case, we wanna have the sale of the sneakers made in New Jersey. Okay. So when we say about the New Jersey, which means we need to know about the manufacturer location. So it means we need to work with the manufacturer table. Okay. And then when we have the product category, which is the sneakers, okay, now categories from the product. If you remember, I mentioned that it's exactly look like talking in another language. We are reading in a simple English. This says of the sneakers made in New Jersey, and we need to translate it to the SQL language. Okay. So when we have again New Jersey, which means this table, Then we have the sneakers, which means product table, and then we have the list sales of the product, which means we have the sale table. So we are gonna work with these three tables, okay? And same as previous week, please open the advanced query editor on your side. Then we can run this syntax together, okay? So right now, any volunteer to just tell me, not line by line, or in just how we should approach to this code. So, for example, if I want to start this one first, I would start with the which table I need to work with. Now we know sale, product, manufacturer. And then we need to find the common key between this table. Am I right? So, for example, from the sale to product table, they are connecting through which attribute they are connecting, the sale and product ID, the product table, product ID. And then from the product ID to manufacturer. Okay. And from the sale to manufacturer, there is no connection. Absolutely. So now I'm just gonna copy paste, but I need you to do it on your side. So we are saying that, okay, from the sale table, so we have the two columns from the sale, which says dot asterisk. That's how we call all the columns from the sale. Okay. And then category, manufacturer name, and the state, okay, are the variables or the attributes that we need to call. But as you see here, again, we don't mention from which table, because category is the only variable that available in the product table, and the state and manufacturer name is the only variables or attributes that available in the manufacturer table. So that's why we don't need to mention it, but you can mention it, which means you can say, okay, category from the product table. So it's gonna be product dot category, which means categories from product table. And then also manufacturer dot manufacturer name and manufacturer dot state that we have. So then we start from the sale table, which is obvious because you want to have at the end the list of the sales. And then we go to the product table. But the way that product table and the sale table could be connected is through the product ID, okay? And then another line, that's the extra line that I said. So this time you need to connect those other tables, which is, in this case, product table and manufacturer table, okay? So the column, the attributes, the variable name, the comment between these two are manufacturer ID. So you would go with the second between the fourth line or the second line of the join, and then the condition as we have in the problem, which is sneakers made in New Jersey. Okay, so it should be category sneakers and the state is New Jersey. And I think it is obvious why we have and here, because we want to just have sneakers that created in New Jersey, not sneakers and other product as well as other product in other, for example, state or New Jersey. So that's why we have the and function. Is there any question for this simple query that we have? So did you run on your side?
Yeah.
So now we can see we have all the sneakers that created in the New Jersey state. So that's how the tree table works. Let's have another example. But before that, let me talk one more time regarding the alias. I think I just mentioned about the alias. I didn't exactly go through the alias. Yes.
So do you always put and if you know that it's like in the state?
Yeah.
Say like it's like S is made in Jersey.
Exactly, because of the question that we had. So it says that we want to have the sneakers that created in New Jersey. Okay. So because of that specific condition, we need to just show sneakers that created in New Jersey. It didn't says, for example, sells the sneakers as well as other product in other states, or sneakers as well as other sneakers as well as sneakers in other states. It's just exactly mentioned sneakers in New Jersey. So we want to have it in the output. We want to just look at these two in the output. That's why we use the AND function here. So if I use the OR function, let's see what's going to happen. What's going to happen? What do you think?
Results. It'll show you other shoes that are made in New Jersey, so like boots made in New Jersey,
Yeah.
or sandals, or things like that.
Yes, exactly. So let's run it. So right now, as we see, we have sneakers, but also in California. And if we have right now, this output is just 100. But if we have more output here, for sure, we would see that we have the New Jersey that, for example, boots created in New Jersey. Okay. So we mentioned one more time, when we have, I think it's more. So regarding those logical condition that we have, for example, A and B, A or B. Okay. So in this case, in the output, whatever result is true about the A, it's gonna be in the output. And whatever result which is true also for the B is also gonna be in the output. But when we have AND, A and B, which means we are just going to have those results that are common between A and B. That's it. Which means both of the conditions should be at the same time true. If we have the sneakers and the New Jersey, which means these two should happen together. But if we have sneakers or New Jersey, we would have sneakers regardless of the states, and we would have the New Jersey regardless of the product. Should. So that's how again we use the and or. Any question? Especially back rows? No questions? Good. So we talked a little bit about the alias last week. So by alias, which means we are just going to where is it? Just short the syntax. That's it. In terms of, for example, having the manufacturer, we just use M or whatever. But simply is the best way to, for example, use just the first alphabet. Okay. So how this one works, for example, the first line is always the same. Let me run it through the okay. So the first line, which is the select. So here we have the S as a cell table, category manufacturer, those stay the same. But the point is, when we start from sale, we just use the space and whatever characters that we would like to represent sale. Again, it's easy to just use the first alphabets. Okay, so from sale S, which means right now we are saying, okay, sale is equal to S. That's it. Then join product, the second line. So whenever we have the new table, then we would define it with the alias, with the character. So again here, product P, and now since you are going to have again the same, and you are going to have again the P, in this case, instead of using sale and product, we just use S and P. The same for the manufacturer, which is the third table. So now it's the time for defining the name for manufacturer. The manufacturer is M, okay? On the P manufacturer ID equal to M manufacturer ID. So product and manufacturer table. So we just use the P and M. And here also, for example, we could have category from the product table. So P dot category, M dot manufacturer name, M dot states. So that's also we can use it as well. Yes.
If you are using an alias in the from and join, or creating an alias in the from and join functions, you then have to use that alias in the select and where functions.
Let's try. So first, let's just put the sale. We are gonna have error, and when we have the even the remove the dot also error. Yes, you need to definitely just use the alias from that one, especially for the select statement. So that's how we use alias, and which is so, I mean, useful in the coding. Because again, for example, instead of saying product.manufacturer ID, manufacturer.manufacturer ID, so as long as we can short the code, it would be better. So that's why we use this alias. Okay, so the second example. Let's just read this one. Query is the list products sold to customers living in Illinois. Okay, so let's just read the query. So which table we can use based on which keywords? You tell me. So products, which means we can use the product table for sure. And customers, customer table, sales, or the sold key, the sold word. So we can say, okay, that one is related to the sale table. So right now, we just reading these two lines, we found, okay, we need to work with 3 tables. This is so helpful, especially for the assignments, because in there you would just see the query as so for some of you already started. So according to the keywords, you need to find which table you need to work. So here, one more time, list products means show product name. Okay, so we need to work with the table, the product table. Sold to indicate that the sale table is needed, and also customer living in Illinois indicate that the customer table is needed. Okay, so we can just easily run the syntax. Please also do it on your side. So we would like to just see the product name. Okay, so in this case, we would have just the product name in the output. I didn't mention anything about the sale table or S dot asterisk, which means in an output, we don't need to know them. We don't need to have them. So with the first line, it means we are just gonna have one specific column in the output. Am I right? Yes. So the first line, as we mentioned before, based on the operation order, so it's gonna start from the from state table, goes next, and then it goes to select the statement, and we'll see which column, which attribute we are calling. In this case, we are just selecting the product name, which is product name, obviously from the product table, and we don't want to have the duplicate value, so we would say select distinct, and from the sale table, and we go to the product table. So the common key between these two is the product ID, which we have. And then from the sale table to the customer table, which the common key again here is the customer ID. And where the state is Illinois. But let me show you here. So we can see that from the sale table to the customer and to the product table. So we have the common key here. And here, if I run it, we can have the product name. So if I remove this C, do you think the syntax is gonna work or it's not gonna work?
It'll work.
Not gonna work?
It'll work.
Let's see together. It works because a state is just available in the customer table. If we have a state in another table, then we would have problem. But since state is just the only attribute, only variable in the customer table, which we are fine. Otherwise, that would be an issue for us. So that's why we again show from which state, from which table we are using which attribute. If the attributes in that specific query is just available in one table and only one table, you don't need to mention it, have it from that specific table. But if that attribute is already come from different table, then you need to like the product ID. Product ID available in product table, product ID also available in the sale table. So I need to mention to choose product ID from which table. Okay. Any question? Yes. Oh, I think so that's the output. And it doesn't matter anymore. 2 tables, 3 tables, 4 tables, 5 tables, whatever. The structure is the same. Okay. So you need to first, again, translate it from the query. So it says list product made in New Jersey, okay, and sold to customer in Illinois. So right now we need to go through the keywords. When we have the list product, which means we are gonna work with the product table, okay? When we have the New Jersey, made in New Jersey, which means we are gonna work with the manufacturer table. When we have the sold, obviously we are using this sale table. And the last one, customer in Illinois, which means we are using the customer table. So before running the query, we would like to know which attributes are in common between these, between sale and customer is customer ID, between product and sale is product ID, between product and manufacturer is the manufacturer ID. Okay, so and as we see here, we have the condition where the state is in New Jersey and Illinois. So let me okay. So again, we would like to see the product name, the only column in our output. We will start with the sale table from sale S. And then we would go to the product table. The common key is the product ID. Then customer to sale table. Again, the common key is customer ID. Then the last one, manufacturer, which the common key between the manufacturer and product table is the manufacturer ID. And as we see here, we have a state, Illinois, and yes.
Joining tables together where it says P product ID and product ID, does it matter the order? Like,
You mean this line to this line, this line?
no, just on the same line?
Oh, these two?
Yes,
No, it does not.
so which,
No.
as long as.
P dot manufacturer ID or A equal B or B equal A is the same. And here we have the state is Illinois and New Jersey, but here we need to define a state from which table. Okay, so in the questions it says product made in New Jersey. So the first state, uh, the state here, New Jersey, comes from the manufacturer table. And then customer in Illinois. So the customer table has the state variable or a state attribute. So a state this time comes from the customer table. Okay. So just let me know when you run the code on your side, because again, no one is gonna be a coder just by looking at the syntax. And the point about the SQL code, we have some case that, for example, you are running two codes and you would say, okay, these two are so similar together, there is no difference. But when you just go through the details, you will see just, for example, some simple, very slight difference between these two. So it is so important to exactly run the code on your side as well. So now if we have 5 tables, 6 tables, there's nothing different. So we can just easily add as much as we want to this type of queries. So the only things that matters is to find the relationship between these tables and to again translate from the query to the SQL language by finding the keywords and then find which keywords related to which table and then choose those specific tables and then run the query. So that's the 4 table join. Another example, let's do this on your side. So list product made in is, let me see if it's this. Oh, it's the same, sorry, my bad. So that comes into this second part of the presentation. So in the second part, we learn how we need to run the queries from the different tables. And we mentioned in the first part of the last week that we will work later about the normalization. That we said, okay, if you have all of these informations in one table, okay, it is possible, but it's waste of time. We mentioned this example that I am a buyer, Hossein Mohit, and purchase, for example, each year 10,000 items from different company. So instead of, for example, having my name 10,000 times as a buyer, Hossein Mohit, we can have a separate table as a, let's say, customer, then Hossein is the number one, for example, ID, the information. So in that case, you just recording me just once in a customer table, and you have all the details for the sales in other tables. So in that case, you would save time, you would save storage, you would save a lot of things. And also you would avoid probable mistakes, probable errors when the operator is inserting this type of coding. That's why we said we need to have multiple tables. That's why we have the entity relationship diagram, ERDs, that we will learn. And that's, we called this one as a normalization. So we will learn a lot about the normalization. We have 4 types of normalization. So it's going to be another things, and I believe it's also interesting. So that's the second part. So do you have any question regarding these function queries? But let's also see. So we did some assignments in class, am I right? Just 1 or 2?
Two.
I mean, the first part, the second part, am I right? So let's have this one in class together. So this week gift to you. So list information contained in the sale table concerning the sale of the slippers whose category is the slippers. Categories are not capitalized in the database. Note your answer should dynamically include all current column and any future change. Yes.
This is 2.3, right?
2.3, yes. Yes, 2.3 with no 2.2, sorry. And the third one. Yes. So which table you think we need to work with? So from the keyboards. So for sure we need to use the sale table, absolutely. And the table that have information also regarding the slippers, the category. So let me just. So we start with the select. So do you see the bottom line? So we start with the select, and since it mentions your answer should dynamically include all current columns, so which means in the select statement, we need to call whatever columns we have in the cell table. What is it? Is there anything wrong with the code?
No,
Are you sure?
the code is great.
Okay, good. So let me know if you have any question. And so, as always, we start with the select statement and the sale dot asterisk, which is the all the columns, and then we start from the sale table, and again, slippers is related to the category, the product table. So we would have the join product from the sales product ID to product ID. Okay. And where categories is slippers or category is casual shoes. So I think this answer is not for this one. All right. Yeah, the concerning the sale of the slippers, whose category is the slippers? Yeah, this answer. Oh my God. Now you have the answer for two questions. So this is for the fourth one. So let's change this one for this question. So what would be the answer for this one?
Well, you would reduce down the where statement to just include.
Category to slippers.
And you could call out the specific table, but you don't have to in this example.
Mm-hmm. So if we just test the query, we will have the result. Okay. Yes.
It's an alias for this example.
We didn't use it. That's it. I mean, it didn't mention in the questions. Yeah. But we could just simply by having, let's say, sale S product P instead of this one P and instead of S sale. So technically we should have the same output, which we have.
Are these assignments graded on just the output? So even if you have slightly different code, as long as the output's the right thing, you get.
Yeah, as long as the output is correct, usually is. And I also do checking some codes. So we have the case last week that I checked the syntax, everything was correct, but I don't know for whatever reason it gave 9 out of 10 to the students. So I still didn't fix it, so I have to give a full credit to that one. I don't know, maybe it's a glitch or something. Yes.
Yeah, so it's like, I experienced that too.
Mhm.
and It's like, it gives the code is perfect and it says it's like two.
Email me.
few
Email me that I know I have to check it because again, at the same time we have other students that they said, okay, my code is correct, and we checked and there was a difference in the code.
If you try it again, so it's like, let's say I get the result at the end,
Mhm.
and on the right hand corner there it says it's try again. And if you try it again, is like, what is gonna give you an average for?
No, the highest one is the.
Oh, the highest, so you can try it as many times?
Three times.
3 times,
Yeah.
okay,
We have 3 times for the assignments.
okay.
But again, for example, if you think for whatever reason it didn't happen and you need more attempt, just let me know. Yeah.
Because it was for practices,
Yes.
I didn't mind to redo it,
And also, as we saw here, we have this advanced query editor, so you can also, before running into the assignments, you can also check it here to make sure that the code is correct, everything works well or not.
Well, yeah,
It gives you also another place to have different attempts, you see? So that's it. So let's go very quick to the last part, which is I would say the simplest part of this chapter. So the main reason that we have this type of database is for recording data. Am I right? So in a daily activity in an organization, you might, for example, change the data for a couple of 100 times or whatever. So which means we would probably need to update our table. Sometimes we need to add new data to the table, not sometimes, always. Sometimes you need to remove the data from the table, or sometimes we need to remove the table from the database. Okay. Regarding the last one, there is a very important thing that you need to know, that there is no undo button in SQL, especially for we will see the drop statement and delete statement. So if you delete something from your database, it's gonna be gone forever. Okay, so that's why people used to create a copy of the table and work on it. And then if it's okay, if it works, then they will apply to the main part of the database. So that's a really important things that we need to know. So here in this specific part, we cannot run the codes here because in most of them we are working on the imaginary data sets because we don't want to delete or update the real database in the book. So we will see. So regarding updating the data, we have 3 functions. Okay, so the insert function, which is obvious, just for inserting new rows, new data to a table. You have, for example, whatever table, I don't know, table A or sale table, and now you have 10 items, 10 records on it, and Hossein will purchase the new items. So you need to have the item 11 add to this specific table, okay? So in that case, you need to use the insert function, so which means you are inserting a new row, which we said each row is the one record, one transaction, one new data. The second one, which is the update function, okay? So the update function, for example, I don't know, you have my name there, Jose Mohit, and then you will find, okay, Mohit is the wrong name for me, wrong last name for me. Then you need to update that specific one in the table. So in that case, we use the update function. And the last one is related to the delete. So you can use just to delete the rows, deleted data from the table, or you can, for example, use it for deleting the whole table from your database. So in the book, if we go to the 2.4 section, so first it shows you, so if you do it on your side, you will have a different result from me. So please scroll down to the first query box that you have there, drop table my customers. Do you see on your side this table? So just don't run it now. I will come back again to that one. So we will go to that one, but let's first continue the PowerPoints. So for the inserting, we can just simply insert one row, or we can have multiple rows, for example, from the another table. So we will also see both versions. So for the one row insert, the simple syntax is a start with the insert into. So simple English, insert into to whatever table is, which is, for example, customer table, and what are the column names in that specific table. For example, we have the we have the so we have the, for example, customer table. It has some column, you know, first name, last name, phone number, address, something. So if I would like to insert a new row to this table, okay, I would start with the insert into. So it just go with the insert into the table name, which here is the customer. Okay, and then we need to list the column name, which is first, last, phone number, address. You write it here. Then the second part of the code is the values. So now we need to say, okay, the new values for the first name is Hussein, for the last name is Mohit, for the number is blah blah, for the address is this one. So in that case, easily you can just insert a new code. So we will see in the next slide. For example, here we are adding a new row to the customer table. Customer table, let's say we have the customer table. So it goes with the insert into customer, which is the customer ID, first name, last name, state, and the values for the customer ID is 500. For the first name is John. You need to have the quotation because it's a string, it's not a numeric, it's a character. Then a Smith, the state is New Mexico. So the customer ID is gonna be 500, and the result we can see here. And there is a point for it. So for example, if you don't have the value here for the state, for whatever, if you don't have it, you need to just use the null, N-U-L-L, okay? And when you are using the null, you shouldn't put it in the quotation, because if you put it in the quotation, it's considered as a string with the 4 characters, which is null. But when you don't put the quotation, so SQL will find out, okay, for this specific column, for this specific row, for that specific cell, we don't have any information. It may be missing, it may be not applicable, it may be not available, whatever. So we call it as a null. So null values are not 0 or blank, they are just null. So that's important to know. So in your assignment, you have some that you need to, for example, insert some information to the row, to the table, and there is no available information for it. So you just simply use null for it. Okay. And another example, okay. But this one is important. So again, here we have the insert. Let me just put it here. It doesn't work if I run it because we don't have this table. I'm just putting here to just show you better. So here we have insert into customer, the customer ID again, everything that we have, and then the values for all of them is here. And as we can see, we have no. But there is a main point that if you don't put the column list here, still the code works. So, but it will automatically start from left to right and replace whatever value is available there. So right now, in this case, if I removed this specific part of the code, it will automatically put 500 as a customer ID, then John as a first name, Smith as a last name, and the rest. So for more clarity, it's always better to have the column name. But if you don't, nothing big deal. It will automatically replace with the order of the column from left to right.
So using that if we don't have that information available.
Yeah, we don't have the information.
Okay, so we don't have whatever, don't,
Yes.
those three addresses.
Maybe, yeah, just we don't know what is it. That's it. No. If you put the quotation, it will, I mean, treat that one like the Smith. It will think, okay, this is the character, no
So we
character.
wanna make-
Yeah, it's just gonna write no for us. So that's it. But let's go to the book for this function. So here in the book, since it doesn't want to work with the current data set that we have, it's gonna show us this syntax, which is start with the, let's forget the drop table. So create table, okay. So it start with the create table and call the table as the my customer, okay. And then it will says card my customer as it the selected statement, selecting all the variables from Redcat, the data set that we have, dot customer, okay? And there's a condition for it. Wherever the customer ID is less than 100, then select again, show me the my customer table and show me all the columns. So technically this code right now has first line as drop table. I will tell you what it is. And the create table, and again, another select a second. So technically it's three codes. So if you run it, you will get one error and also an answer. So run it on your side, please. If it's the first time that you are running it. Did you see the error? So you will get the error first because first it's gonna start a drop table my customer. It's still for your side in your database, there is no my customer. So the code would say, okay, I don't have my customer. So there's an error for it. But it will create the my customer with this function from the Redcat table, the Redcat dataset, the customer table, where the customer ID is less than 100, and then it show me again the my customers table. Each time that we run this code, the next time that you run the code, you don't have the error because the next time there is a my customer table available, so it's gonna drop it, so you don't have it anymore, and again create the new one. So yeah, if you run it again, you don't have the error anymore. Okay, so right now I just created a new table out of the current table. So that's the part that you can practice on your side, just instead of messing. Yes.
Just maybe it's a little bit of a silly question, but
No,
considering the delete function, the update function, and the insert function, can we like permanently and accidentally affect the main data sets we're using and like delete portions of them from our homework?
from your homework,
Okay.
because
Are
it's
those
related.
recoverable or-
It's related to your database.
Okay.
I don't know. Maybe we need to contact with it because in some of the assignment, you will see that it gives you some warning. Make sure to do not delete this table for your site.
I just didn't know if there was like a
Mm,
fail safe that if one of you
yeah.
guys can accidentally delete part of the
Yeah,
database.
yeah,
that
it is
needs-
possible because
Okay,
you also be based on the subscription that you have from this book, each of you have your own database.
okay.
Okay, so yeah, you need to be careful with the database. I'm not sure, definitely they think about this issue, absolutely, but since it hasn't happened to me yet, so, but if for whatever reason you just made a mistake or accidentally remove something, we can work together on it, okay? So now we have the new table, okay? So the second line right now, let me show you this way. So right now I am inserting into the my customer the code that we just had. Customer ID, first name, last name, whatever. And the values are 500, blah, 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 until, and then I will ask select from my customers. So technically we are adding a customer ID 500 to the table. Okay. So right now in this table, for sure, we don't have the 500 because we said customer ID less than 100. But if I run it, one record affected, you see? So it means right now we have this record in the data set. And we mentioned that if we, for example, let's run it together. If we remove this part, the customer, the column list, it should still work. Let's run something probably I'm missing, but where is the missing part? Where I'm missing? What time is it? Technically, we should. I would say maybe this one. Let's try it. I'm getting error. So maybe this is the one. My customer. Never mind. I don't know what's wrong with this one right now. But again, we don't need always to have the column name. I can fix it later. So now it's the time for inserting multiple rows. So we just learned to insert a specific row to the table. So for the multiple rows, for example, we are inserting some rows from one table to another table, okay? So in this case, the code structure is look like this, how it works. It was says, insert into existing table name, whatever table name that happens. So you should definitely have the table there. First, it should be existing. You cannot create, just say, for example, insert into, I don't know, sale report table, which you don't have the sale report table. So you are saying, okay, I'm gonna insert something to this table. Then you would say select either all of the column or some specific column. This one comes from the source table. So right now we have the source table. Then we have the, let's say, the destination table, whatever. So in the first line, I would say, okay, insert something into this one. Then in the second line, I would say select some columns or all columns, it doesn't matter, but it should be from the source table. Then from the table, which is from the source table, again, we need to put the address for the source table, where the condition is whatever. So that's the simple way. So for example, in order to practice, you can just, for example, easily from the in the from this function that we had, for example, you can just create, I would create my customer one, my customer two table, and just practice this one with inserting from my customer, inserting to my customer two from my customer one, for example, these specific columns or rows. So that's the part. And also you can just directly have some specific, again, add some specific rows from table with the new queries. So how this one works? For example, here we would say insert into the sale archive, okay? Imagine you have the sale archive table, so you are inserting into, but you are selecting from the sale table, where the sale table, there's a condition for it. The sale date is less than before 2014. So that's also another way to create this one. I think we have one in the here. No, we don't have, we just have the update function. That's why for this chapter, most of the codes you cannot run it because we don't have, for example, right now the same archive in it. We are just seeing how we can run it. So also in MySQL, as I mentioned, you need to have that sale archive available in your data set, but it helps you with this function, which select asterisk into new, the name table. So this function specifically, the new table, whatever name inside, it's gonna create a table, create a new table. Right. So select sale archive. In this specific coding, the code is gonna create the sale archive table, okay? And again, it's gonna import some information from the sale table where sale date is before 2014. So the second part of the code, adding or removing and updating queries, is related to the update one, which is so simple. So you can use it in some different version. So the one that we have here, we are, for example, updating my customer, the one that we created. So we would like to change the last name to West for the customer ID 30. So if I go up right now, and also if you go up, so right now, if I run it, we can see that where is it? The customer ID 30 is Raquel Lopez. Okay. But if I run this syntax for it, which is update, when you are saying update, okay, the SQL wait for us to update which table. Here, we are working on the my customer table that we just created also on your device. So we are gonna set the last name to West, where the customer ID is 30. Okay, you can, for example, says where the first name is Marquez. But if you have multiple Marquez, it's gonna be error. So you need to select those unique identifier, which here the unique identifier is customer ID. Am I right? So customer ID 30. So then it has also the second part of the code, which again show me the my customer with all column. So if I run this one, right now the 30 is Raquel West instead of Raquel whatever Marcus something that it was.
So can you create like, let's say, a sale archive table just as we created the my customer?
Exactly. That's how it's,
MySQL in
yeah. That's the way that you can also create on MySQL as well. So the function is this one. So you can just for practicing, you can just easily create as long as table you want.
So we can
And-
drop table
And yeah, and also you can just easily drop that table as well. So for example, you would say, okay, my customer, whatever, maybe this time you would add the new condition and create and work on it. And again, if you run this code, it will drop the previous table that you just created, and it will create the new table. So each time it will replace the table
and I can format that table whatever, how I want
based
it.
on the customer. So for example, if I don't have this ver function here, what's gonna happen? You tell me.
It's gonna show up everything.
It's gonna show everything, yes, that's it.
Show everything.
So we don't have any limitation. Right now, we said, okay, just show me those customer ID less than 100. So if we have, I don't know, customer ID, I don't know, until 10,000 something, it's gonna show you all the 10,000 something in the new table. So I can say that technically you are just copy and paste that table. Here we are copy and pasting, but at the same time we are modifying it.
Modifying it.
Yeah, but in that one, you're just, and that's how you can work on your side to practice. You can just create as much as table you would like. And if you don't like to have those tables, you can just easily drop table, whatever name that you added.
And we can add like the join function. to
Then
join
you can practice everything. And it's exactly same as the previous function, but here, again, we are just, because we don't want to mess with the current data set that you have. That's why in this part, I cannot run codes, because I have to again create a table and then run those codes, but yeah. So you're welcome. So for updating, for example, one of them, again, update the table name here, my customer, and set, for example, again, first name to Hossein, where the, for example, customer ID is 300. Or, for example, in this example, we are changing the last name to Margaret Smith to West, Margaret to West, because, for example, she recently married. So in this case, we are going to go update customer, set the last name to West, where the first name is Margaret. We are assuming, oh, did you see? I mentioned, I said, okay, for example, where the customer ID is 100, and I said if I says where the first name is, I don't know, this one Margaret, maybe it's gonna change other Margaret as well. But here it says where the first name is Margaret and the last name is Smith. So it's gonna exactly look for Margaret Smith, then replace the last name to West.
It's still not perfect though, because there might be multiple. Markers.
Again, there might be multiple Margaret Smith in the table. So yeah, it's always, you need to look at the unique identifier of that specific, which we have it. For each table, we know now we have the primary key, which means we have the specific value for each rows in the table. Any question? We are done, just a couple of more slides and then we are done. And also, you can update multiple records. For example, this example. I would like to reduce the list price of all women's shoes by 5%. So it's mathematical, which means I want to have the 95% of the value. When we are reducing to 5%, so let's say the price is $100, so reducing 5% is going to be 95% of it. So in this case, I would say update which table? Product table. Which variable? List price. What is the new criteria? List price times 95%. Where the gender is female, for example, because it's a women's shoe by 5%. Okay. And the last one, again, delete or the drop, which again is functions. It's going to permanently delete whatever you have in your data. So as also mentioned in class, if you are practicing, just easy. You can have this function here, create a new table, and then start to play with this new table as much as you want. It doesn't matter. Okay. And it's definitely more helpful for you to just play with the data sets. So you can just easily, for example, say delete from which table, customer table, where, for example, customer ID is 300. It's gonna delete the customer 300 from the table. Or maybe some condition for it. Delete from sale table where sale date is before 2014, something. Okay. So right now, if I want to have this code works for me, I would go to my laptop, go to this syntax. I would say, create a table, my sale, as select asterisk, all of them from Redcat sale table, the sale that we have. And I don't want to have any extra condition. So now I created the my sale table. So right now I can come here and run this one. Delete from my sale table where sale date is before 2014. Good. Today you are also a little sleepy. And just the information I mentioned, when you're updating, when you're deleting whatever table in your dataset, you are doing it permanently. Okay. So this function that we had, update product, uh, update product, set list price times 95%. If I, for whatever reason, forgot to put where gender is female, it's gonna update all of the list price for shoes for male and female. So condition matters. If you miss a condition, you will impact the whole data sets in the table that you have. So right now, in this case, I removed the where clause, so it's gonna update all of the price to reduce to the 5% or update to 95%. So that one matters. And yeah, so that's how the update and delete function works. Okay. So in this you have as assignment 2.3, 2.4, and 2.5. So just 3 from this chapter. So for example, in 2.3, it says insert the following record into the product table. Okay. We don't have product table. Okay. So if you run this code, you will get error. I'm just saying to you, just please pay attention to it. So you just need to save answer and submit. So you will get the grade. So don't worry, it's not because we don't have the product table here. The only things matter right now is to let you know that, okay, you need to put insert into product, which values are whatever. So, and the values are here. And for the blank one, you need to use no. Okay. So that's for today lecture. Let me stop recording. Again, thank you so much.